Hi everybody and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to make something really tasty. I'm going to show you how to make a blooming onion. Now if you're from the USA you'll know exactly what a blooming onion is because it's the signature dish of the Outback restaurant chain, the steak chain. But if you're from the rest of the world you may not have ever even heard of these things, but they're great. Basically what it is, we're going to take an onion and we're going to cut it specially so it opens out like petals like that. And then we're going to make a nice spicy coating for it, and we're going to coat it in the spice, and then normally you would pop it into the deep fryer, but today we're going to do it into the air fryer, and it's going to be more healthy. That's the whole point of it. Now you never eat these things without a dip, and I'm going to accompany this today with this horseradish dish. You can use your own dish if you wish. If you've got some kind of a dip that you like, then by all means, but I've made a horseradish dip today. So let's have a little go at this. Let me have a go. Let's pinch a piece out of here. There we go. So this is how you eat them. You rip a bit off like that and you dip it in there. Oh, that is really good. The spices in the blooming onion that we coated it with match perfectly with that dip. Yes, that's a success. Now, it might look a bit of a mess because I've made it in the air fryer, but it tastes beautiful, believe me. Now, what you do with these things, you never use a knife and fork. That's the first thing. You would serve this, you put this on your guest came, you'd put it on the table, 1 or 2 or even 3 depending on how many you've got. You'd stick it on the table with the dip, and people would just do what I've done there. They'll rip a bit off like that, stick it in the dip, and it's great. You can use it for a starter as well if you wish, but it's really good. I can't get over how good it is. You'll love it. Please have a go at this one. You will not be disappointed. This is the blooming onion, and let's get on and I'll show you how to make it. So the first thing we're going to do, you need to get yourself an onion, obviously, and try and pick a nice big one if you can. And I'll explain what this pastry cutter is in a moment. You also need a really nice sharp knife. But here's your onion. Now this is the head of the onion, and this is the root of the onion. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to cut the head of the onion off, like that. And then we're going to, very gently, we don't want to damage this with the onion, so we're going to take the peel off this, and then I'll show you how to cut it so that it's in like balloons like this. Right, that's nicely peeled. So what we're going to do now, we're going to cut this like that, like that, like that. We're going to cut it so that it's in segments, but we're not going to go all the way through to the bottom, otherwise it'll just fall to bits, and that's why we've left the root on. And that's where this thing comes in. Now some people use the top of a jar, but I find this is great. So this is a 75mm pastry cutter, and if you sit it on it like that, then you see it doesn't go all the way through to the bottom, and what it will do, it'll stop me going right the way through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my first cut, and this is why you need a sharp knife, by the way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut through there with my knife till I hit the bottom or the top of the pastry cutter. Then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to do at 90 degrees. So it's now in, you see it's in 2 bits. And then go do the in-between bits, like that. And then I'm going to do a little bit trickier. For each one of the little segments I've cut out, I'm going to try and do the middle of them so that my petals are nice and small. Get the idea? Got one more there. And as you noticed, I haven't cut all the way through it. And what you can do now is you can start to peel these petals back. And at this stage we can start putting the spices on. But what I find is if we get a bowl of ice water and we drop this in, if we leave this for about an hour, then what it will do, it will soften the onion out and it'll make it so those petals start to come out like that. So what we'll do, we'll leave this for an hour and we'll get back in about an hour to have a look how it's doing. But in the meantime, we'll go off and we'll mix the spice ready to put onto it. Right, well, while the onion's chilling off and nicely splaying out like that, hopefully, let's get on and let's make the lovely spicy coating that we're going to put on it. And it's really, really easy. I've got here 100 grams of plain flour, and to that I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoonful of black pepper, so not much. There you go. And we're going to add 1 teaspoonful of paprika and 1 teaspoonful of sea salt. And basically what we're going to do with that, we're going to give that a good mix like that. And this is the dry bit. We're going to do this in 2 bits. There's a dry bit and a wet bit. And this is the dry bit. And it's as simple as that. So we'll just pop that to one side. And the wet bit couldn't be any simpler. I've just got myself a nice big dish because I'm going to sit the onion in there. And we'll crack an egg. And all we're going to do is add 50 millilitres of milk, and it's not an exact science. If you want to put a bit more milk in or a bit less milk, it's really, really easy. And then we'll just give that a mix. And this is the wet bit. So basically we've almost made a batter, but we've kept it into 2 bits. And what we're going to do, when the onion has had its hour or so and it's more malleable and I can open it up, we're going to coat it with the dry bit and then dip it into the wet bit, and we're going to basically get it nice and coated. And then we're going to add some breadcrumbs in it. Okay, so our blooming onions had a good hour in the chilled water there, the ice water. Get her out. Give it a... Now I found by experiment that the drier you get this, the better it will be. There you go. So don't worry about losing petals. There she is, and she's already started, if you notice. You see it's all coming out. Can you see? This is what we want. Now I found by experiment that the drier you get this, the better the spicy coating will stick. But that's looking really good. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get some paper towels and just dab this dry the best I can. And there we go, look at that, that's looking really good. So what we're going to do now, we've got to get it spiced up, and as I said earlier, we've got 2 spices that you saw me make. Sorry, two-part spices. We've got the dry bit and the wet bit. So I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to start off putting it into the, let's just move that up there, then we can see. Drop it into the dry stuff like that. Sprinkle some in like this. You're trying to get down into all those petals if you can. Now don't worry if some of these petals start dropping off, it doesn't matter that much. You get some of that in there like that. then let's get the egg mix. And we'll drop it into the egg mix. Pour the egg mix. Again, you're trying to get into all the nooks and crannies, into all the petals. And then we'll repeat, we'll put some more. When you're relatively happy with it, drop it back into the dry bit. That is well coated. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to sprinkle some breadcrumbs on the top of it. Well, not on the top of it. Something like that. There we go. Now, if you're making more than one of these, by the way, there's plenty of mix here for two. You don't have to double up the ingredient quantities. And that's not too far off now. That is great, as far as I'm concerned. That is ready to go. So if I lift that up now, let's get rid of all the loose stuff. That is going to be absolutely delicious. And what we're going to do now, you might have noticed I brought the air fryer around because it doesn't normally live here. I'm going to warm the air fryer up at 190 degrees for 3 minutes to get it up to temperature, and then we're going to pop this in. And this is going to come out, this is going to be so delicious. So let me just wash my hands and let's get on. Right, the air fryer's been on for 3 minutes to warm it up at 200, and I'm just going to pop in a liner so we can get it out. And what we're going to do, slightly out of shot here, I do apologise, but we're going to put our blooming onion into there. Give it a nice squirt with some oil, like that. And we're going to give it, we're going to put it onto air fry, and we're going to make it 190 degrees C for 20 minutes, which is its default setting on this Ninja. Okay, well, while the air fryer is doing its thing with our blooming onion, let's get on and make the dip. Now you can use any dip you wish with this, whatever you fancy. I quite like horseradish based dip, so that's what I'm going to do today. But you can use your own dip if you wish. So making the horseradish dip is really, really easy. We're going to have 3 tablespoonfuls of Greek yogurt, and you can use sour cream here if you wish. To that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons full of mayo. 1, 2, and then we're going to add 2 tablespoons full. I forgot my horseradish. 2 tablespoons full of horseradish. This will give it that lovely, lovely horseradishy taste, obviously. And then we've got some ketchup. We need 1 teaspoonful of ketchup. That, a 1/4 teaspoonful. A 1/4 teaspoonful of paprika. That much. A pinch of salt. I'm not prepared today, am I? Pinch of salt. Where's our dry chives? We're going to put in here 1/2 teaspoonful. Now these are going to make it taste extra nice. And if you want to put a bit of garlic in here, that'll work great. But that's basically it. Give that a good mix. And there's your dip. Couldn't be simpler. I'm going to transfer that obviously into a better dish. And let's have a look how our blooming onion has turned out. Here we go. Stop that. And there is our blooming onion. Now I've had this on and off a few times. I've kept an eye on it. In fact, the other thing I've done, I went in halfway through and I just prized the petals up a little bit with a fork so that they were cooking sort of in between the petals. Now the hard bit here is getting this out because this is absolutely red hot. So the easiest way of doing this is my plate. Long that on there like that. There we go. One blooming onion. And these things are absolutely delicious. You will not be disappointed with this. I mean, okay, if you deep fry them, that's how you're supposed to do them, but done in the air fryer, it's a lot healthier. It's a lot easier because a lot of people don't have chip pans these days. I'll put my dip in here into a nice dish. And very shortly I'm going to let people try this and see what they think of it. And how you eat these things, I mentioned this at the beginning, but what you tend to do with these is if you've got guests, you'll stick them on the table with the dip. What you'll do is you rip a piece off it. Let me have a little go. Let's have a go. You rip a piece off like this and you dip that into your dip. Don't double dip. That is so good. Or you can serve it as a starter if you wish. It makes a fabulous starter. So I'm glad you stuck to the bitter end. I can't talk, it's so good. That dip is fantastic. If you like my video, do give me a like and consider subscribing because it does me a power of good when I see people giving me the thumbs up. And we'll see you in the next video. So thank you very much and bye bye.